Hey, this is Angie for Happy Healthy Vegan, and I'm back with another recipe demo. So this week I'm going to be making, at your request, a vegan minestrone. Now there's many ways to make minestrone, so this is just one way using the ingredients that I happen to have here. I'll try to point out some different things that you can do as I go along. These are the ingredients that I'll be using. I think pretty much all minestrones need to have a tomato base, and they generally come with a legume, and I prepared some Canelli beans. It usually comes with a noodle, though I'm going to be using wild rice instead. I think it adds a lot of flavor to the dish, and I prefer to use whole grains. Then you have your choice of vegetables. I'm going to be using some red potatoes, a red pepper, several zucchini squashes, carrots, celery, some baby bella mushrooms, green beans. I've got a few Brussels sprouts and some organic spinach. Hey, what are you doing over here? And then I've got some fresh herbs, though you can just use an Italian mix of dry herbs if you like. Rosemary bushes in my yard, so I like to come out here to pick it fresh. Usually I go down below and try to find really supple branches that are not too woody. So if you want to use beans from scratch the way that I did, this is going to be your first step. You're going to want to take, a cup or so of beans and put them in a pot, completely submerged in water, along with the fresh rosemary stems from my garden. So here are the beans an hour later, and they're looking good. Alright, so I've got a big pot, and I'm starting out with 8 cups of water. I'm using filtered water from my, oh hi Bodhi, from my filtered water machine. And now I'm just going to start quickly putting in some of the vegetables that help to flavor the broth. I think I'll actually start putting in the wild rice right away too, so it can soften up. I'm going to put a cup of that. Excuse me. I haven't actually used wild rice in a while because it's pretty expensive. I've also done this with brown rice. Because the tomatoes aren't like super great and abundant this week, I'll probably subsidize with a little bit of the Pomi tomato sauce as well. But you can use all canned if you like. As I said, I'm going to give you a lot of options here. I always like to start with my celery, so we can roughly chop that up. And from here, I'll probably put the red pepper and the mushrooms next, followed by carrots. I've noticed that a lot of cooking shows don't really show the cooking happening. They just kind of show images of the food with a voiceover instruction. I was just curious if you guys enjoyed watching me actually do the cooking live. I got these gigantic baby bellas. These are practically portobellos by now, and actually portobello mushrooms would be really good in this too. If you don't eat mushrooms, and I know some of you don't, you can skip them, but I like the kind of like meaty flavor and texture it imparts. All right, now let's get these carrots. These are a really lovely French red potato that I get from Farmer's Market, and they're always so delectable. So I'm going to cut this into squares. Well, it's not going to be perfect squares like you'd get in a can of Campbell's soup, but kind of chunks. I meant to measure this stuff for you guys. I totally epically failed on that, but I really want to impart to you how you don't need to be super specific with cooking. I hope if you've learned anything from my show, it's that you can just totally wing it and play it by ear. If I had to guess, and I'm gonna have to guess for you guys, I'd say I probably used about cup and a half of mushrooms, a cup of carrots, 2 celery sticks, and and 1 whole red bell pepper. So that's our measurements so far. 3 cups of potatoes. Boom! I'm gonna go ahead and get this onto the heat. I'm gonna start this on a medium-high heat. I didn't have any fresh thyme, so I'm gonna sprinkle in a little dried thyme. I don't have any sage either, so I'm just gonna pour some of that in here. I've also got some fresh herbs, but those really need to be put in at the end. You don't want them to overcook, except for rosemary. Put that in right away. So I'm just gonna chop it up super fine. I'll just throw this in the pot. So these are bay leaves on the branch, which I got at the farmer's market. I'm just gonna pull off 2 leaves and throw those in the pot as well. Now I'm gonna add a cup of the canned tomato sauce, and then I'll come back and I'll start chopping my fresh tomatoes. 3 cups of fresh chopped tomatoes, you know, just chopped into nice little bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna add that to the soup and come back, chop some more vegetables. Green beans usually take a while to cook, so I'm gonna do those next. Do you wanna watch? I just cut the butts off like so. And I like to kind of cut them into bite-sized pieces. All right, so I ended up with 2 cups of chopped green beans. Guess where they're going? In the pot. Oh my God, you guys, it's already starting to smell amazing in here. I'm getting so hungry. So next up, I'm gonna throw the Brussels sprouts in, and basically I just cut the butts off of those 2. 2 cups of whole Brussels sprouts going in the pot. Now I'm gonna chop up my zucchini, and I'm gonna leave the skins on. I'm gonna remove the stem and the little butt. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do now that I've cut the tips off? I'm just gonna slice it down the middle and then chop it up. So we've got about 2.5 cups of zucchini. All right, so here we are back at the stove, hot stuff, throwing in the zucchini. Let's give it a stir. Oh, you guys, if only this was smell-o-vision. Look, I don't think I could fit anything else in here. Almost wondering if I put too much water, but I know that the wild rice is gonna soak a lot of it up. You know, I forgot to mention black pepper in the beginning, but I think I definitely wanna start smelling some black pepper right now. I'm gonna start throwing it in there. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on this and let it do its thing. All right, so while that's happening in the pot, we can start thinking about our herbs. Basil is definitely a critical herb to have in Italian foods, and the minestrone is traditionally an Italian soup. Just gonna quickly slice them. So I'm using 2/3 a cup of fresh basil. So the other herb that's important for minestrone is parsley. I'm using a flat leaf variety. There's also a curly. All right, so I've got a little bit less than 1/2 cup of chopped flat leaf parsley. Well, look who decided to help. I think he wants to eat some of these beans. Hey, Bodie. So my local greens grower has had chervil the last couple weeks, and I understand that's a traditional minestrone herb. And he also had some savory, so I'm gonna try that as well. Finally, I've got some marjoram from my yard. 1 tablespoon very loosely packed marjoram leaves, which I'm gonna reserve till the end of the cooking time. Speaking of which, it's starting to smell so outrageously good right now. I've got a tablespoon of the savory, and this seems like a little bit tougher of an herb, so why don't we just go check on the soup and I'll throw this in now. Stir it up. I want to get a look at how the vegetables and stuff's doing on the bottom. See if our rice is starting to bloom. Oh yeah, look at that. See, the rice is already starting to bloom. It's opening up and exposing the white insides. All right, I'm gonna let this cook some more. Getting close to time to put in the spinach and the other herbs, but I'll let this cook down a little bit more first. All right, this is looking and smelling great. It's definitely time to get all my herbs in there. So there's the parsley, the basil. It's gonna really smell amazing when that gets in there. Oh, by the way, I ended up with about a teaspoon, a very packed teaspoon of chervil, and the tablespoon of marjoram. Let's mix these in there a bit. God, it's gonna start smelling even better. Oh, look at all that. And then I'm gonna throw in the organic spinach. I'm just gonna throw in the full leaves, but you can also use Swiss chard would be really good. And with the Swiss chard, I'd go ahead and cut up the stems as well and throw those in there. You could also use cabbage. I've been really into cabbage lately. So I'll definitely be doing a cabbage related demo in the very near future. All right, I've been letting all these greens and herbs cooked down for like 10 minutes. And now it's time to throw in these beans, which were already pre-cooked. Stir it up. Now my favorite part of the demo, we're gonna get to the eating. This looks amazing. It smells so good. I wish you guys were here for a bowl, but it's time for the bite of approval while Booty watches.
So much to select from.
I know. This is one of the more complex things I've made.
Wow. Wow. The rice and potatoes together, nice.
I'd forgotten how much I love wild rice. I use the wild rice in
That's
here.
why it's so good. Yeah, it's that wild rice.
Extra good. Isn't it so good?
Wow. Special night.
Now, all the fresh herbs. This is awesome. So we're gonna go scarf this.
Totally scarf.
So leave your comments below what other ingredients you like to put in your minestrones, or what other kinds of soups you may want to see me attempt to make for you here in Happy Healthy Vegan. Please like the video if you're into it, and subscribe if you haven't already for more recipe demos and other vegan lifestyle and health tips. And until next time, keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.